No reira, kai e mihi atu ki te wā me ona katoatua I uhia mai rungi a tātou. I tēnei rā, I tēnei kaupapa, whakahirahira mō tātou te hunga ora. Kai te mihi atu ki a koutou e ngā whānau no Hawaii, mai Hawaii ki nui, Hawaii ki roa, Hawaii ki pāmamau, kia mātou o Hawaii ki tautau. Mihi kau ana ki a koutou I tō koutou aloha mai ki a tātou. Me nā mautere o te Polynesian Triangle, kai te mihi atu ki a koutou, I tatu mai I tēnei huihuinga, hai whāriki I ngā kōrero, I tau mai, kai waingana I a mātou, ko te wānanga o io. Kai te mihi atu ki a koutou I toi ake, e rangi, Dario, koutou mā, hai whakapara te huarahi, mo te hunga ora, mo te hai taurite I ngā hononga mai ngā haputanga me kio he rongoā. He rongoā te haputanga, he rongoā te ai o nuku, te ai o rangi. Nō reira, kāhure, ka mihi, kau ana ki a koutou, hei taura wātu I tēnei o tātou kaupapa. Mihi kau ana ki a koe e pāpa hoepa, me Auntie Joe, hoki, ko rāua nei, tō rāua huritau, ina nahira, I te rā kaunui, I tēnei pōhoki, ka mihi atu ki a korua. Ka timatau mai te tahi takutaku, ko te takutaku hai āwhina atu ki a tātou. I runga, I te waka haere mātou I runga I te marae, ko Hinewaiata, rawa ko tū mātou I ngā hea take ka timatau mai konei. Nā te whare o toi ake I karanga mai kia mātou katoa. Nā te whare o te mai o rewa I tukunatu tēnei o tātou takutaku me ki. Nō reira. I'm used to having all these things up in front of me. Hoi anō. And I'd just like to ask everyone just to take a breather that helps us just to tune in terms of what's going out there in the taiao, especially with Rākai Nui. And what Rākai Nui has given us I tēnei rā, ehara, just in the last, on the 16th, te kau mā ono, because this eclipse has brought us energy or synergy that needs to bring balance, to bring harmony, te ai o nuku, te ai o rangi, to bring harmony to our hinengaro. And as Bob Marley said, only you can free your mind. So this takutaku is about placing your intention on rangiatea. And I see that our whānau from Hawaii, Tonga, Kukiarenia are in this space. And so this takutaku is about bringing that energy of harmony into the Polynesian Triangle and to especially rangiatea, koutou o Rapanui. And so mākui tīmata mai kone. So I just like to ask each one of you to close your eyes and just take and reflect on what's happening for you here and now. Yep. Ko kāre o I kiti a koutou I rungi tēnei huihuinga, a kanohi, ka hononga te Māori ki te Māori. Ne? Ka hononga. Hakina. Breathing in through your nose. Pupuri. Haputa. Pupuri. Hakina. Pupuri. Pupuri toha. Haputa. Pupuri. Hakina. Popuri haputa. And continue to breathe. Hakina in your own time and your own space. E Hinewaiata. E pu iho te I he tonoto. E ire tonoto e iro tonoto e te hononga kia urunga ngono e whare puhi o te mai o rewo No one knows the way it Akina Haputa. Akina. Haputa. And when you're ready, see if it'll all fit. Tēnā koutou. Oh yeah, I lost you. Hai, karera. Hoi, ka huri. Koina te timatanga o tēnei o tātou kaupapa, me ki ko te quantum physics of io. Ka haurua mai oku nei reo. Nā te aha ai, it is tō tātou reo rangatira. It's a chiefly language, ne? Tō tātou reo rangatira. And it's easier for us to speak in tō tātou reo rangatira to convey the special essence, the ear, the eye of how our reo has come from ngā atua, from io. And so in the wānanga that we had with Papa, and I will always acknowledge him, mo ake tonu atu, if it wasn't for his whakapapa whānau apanui, tarawa and tūhoi, we wouldn't be having this one. No reira, quantum physics of io, Papa always talked about his main kaupapa was science. And so we got to be in his presence with many wānanga. So you can't just learn this wānanga today, you know, it's part of it. But in order to reflect, in order to gain this mātauranga, is actually to sit in a wānanga for over 5, 10, 20, 50 years, 60 years of your life. And for those who have entered into this space, place, time, we are here to just give you a small awakening meki, to help you and support you in your journey of rongoā in terms of haputanga. Just over here on the left, the mai orewa. The mai orewa, this tohu was given from Mr. Dooley. Gee, what are you doing with tuatahi ewa? But anyway, the mai orewa is the mother of all spirituality. She is the mother of all spirituality, because I aikina kora Auntie Rose that Pere, Auntie Rose Pere said that she was never, or we as a people, right throughout Polynesian Triangle, were never programmed by religion and or the state. And so, you know, in our nohonga with Papa, we thought, well, if we weren't programmed by religion or state, then what we were given, who are the atua hine that were given to protect us, to look after us, hei poipoia ia tātou. It was Te Mai Orewa. So Te Mai Orewa is the mother of all spirituality. Te Tau Orewa is the father of all spirituality. And spirituality is the reason why we enter into takutaku. Takutaku is to invoke all of our atua, bring them into the space as you would have experienced with your ha. And of course, in haputanga, the first thing that we recognize is the ha. The ha when you enter into this world, and the ha when you leave this world. And so Te Mai Orewa, with all of her spirituality, people then say, well, where does Te Mai Orewa come from? Up here on the top is io. Right up here on the top with the golden yellow, it's io. On the bottom, on the two down the bottom, kona atua. Well, it's actually kona pautiria, the angelic po, the ones that look after the realms. Pera I Thor, you know, when they had the tangata, they had the shaft at the front, or pera ki wene, ngā pautiria, hei, kauparetia, hei, tiaki tira realms. So, I tēnei taha, we have hine nui te pō and hine titama. So in this side here, I'm looking at on my left, You're looking at the right, I think, and but on the in the red is Hine Titama, on the right is Hinewaiata Po. And we both know that those realms have been, those atua are the realms where we as wahine have access to those portals i te wahatuanga. Ne? So we have access, wahinema, to entering into Hinewaiata Po and also entering into Hine Titama. This, the one that's in the middle here, there, right there with the terracotta color, that is Hine Ikurawaka. And so this is why te mai orewa, this wānanga, is the mother of all spirituality. Because i te wā ka piki atu a tāne, ki te tiki i nā kete, he only brought back 3 for the human being, but there's actually 24, and according to the wānanga that we've had with Papa. And the reason why he only brought back 3 kete is because that's all the human being, the human in its being, can handle. If they were to bring back 24 kete, we would not be able to handle, and we would be in chaos. Ne? So the 3 that we do have is essential for our well-being. It is essential for example, what's happening here, right here and now. In terms of why have we all come on to this one and to learn about the quantum physics of Io. Right there, to my audio, is part of that quantum. Quantum physics of Io was being able to traverse back and forth into realms safely for your own well-being, to ensure that when you go into, especially us women who have access to Hinewaiata Po and Hine Titama i te wā hapu. Ka pai? So we, into my order, in our wānanga was to ensure that we learned about Io Pūtahi. We had a relationship, a whanaungatanga with Io Pūtahi and Io Pūrongo. They are not just names for us. They are our quantum science. Io Pūtahi allows us to have existence. Io Pūrongo allows us to hear everything from this world we call the seen world to the unknown world. The world that is unknown and can bring us chaos, but at the same time can bring us enlightenment. So Io Pūtahi, as we all know, the Pū, the beginning of all time, but Io Pūtahi allows other atua to access and to give rights for us human beings to come down through into this realm. Some people call it Te Ao Marama, some people call it Te Ao Tūroa. It is both for us and the quantum physics of Io. Depending on where you are in your ao, whether you're in Ao Marama and or Ao Tūroa, exploring, to have an exploration is what we're doing here today, is to explore as to where is the spirituality of all beings. And so your exploration, your world of exploration right now, Te Ao Tūroa, is about learning the quantum physics of Io. You'll find on the YouTube, I just want to say, you'll find on the YouTube, there are many kōrero about physics and quantum physics. Our mātauranga Māori, our kaupapa Māori, those who are doing kaupapa wānanga, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. We've always had quantum throughout our life whānau, and our quantum starts within the womb of our whare tangata. So, te wai ohua, ka tīmata ki whea, where in this realm did we start from? Well, this is our quantum. Those who have written this before me, I kaitamiha te kia koutou, nā te kukune te pupuke, nā te pupuke te hihiri, nā te hihiri te mahara, nā te mahara te hinengaro, nā te hinengaro te manako, kahua te wānanga. When at a time of, for those, we have lost the concept of tomo. We have lost that concept of tomo because, our whānau, our tipuna knew that in order to bring our whakapapa together was to have a wānanga. And that wānanga was to ensure that our whenua, our moana, our maunga, all that belongs to us as a people on the human realm is looked after, taken care of, and that we would all be able to have a relationship of whanaungatanga. And so the way ohua is conception according to haputanga. When you're in the way ohua, the way, there's two ways that both our tāne and our wahine bring together and in terms of conception. We think that the way ohua, or people think that the way ohua in terms of haputanga is kia moi, e hara. E hara. Ko te hononga a matariki. Ko te hononga a matariki, ko waiti and waita. Koe nā tā mātou wai i te tuatahi. Ka hononga, that is our tāne and our wahine wānanga, according to our wānanga in te mai orewa. Waiti and waita, the female and the male essence of who we are. I te waka haere ki te hei pure. It's called Hinewaiata and Hinewaita, Hine moana, hei tūwhera i a tangaroa kia mahi te pure. Nā hine marama, nā hine kura, hei kaupare tia, mai I runga, mai I raro, ko rātou, ko Hinewaiti, Hinewaita, Hine moana. Ko tangaro kai wainga, ko e te tino atua hei tiaki, hei manaki, hei whakahoki e te kai mo tātou te ira tangata. Pērā ki tēnei kaupapa, te wai ohua. Te wai ohua is simply your whakaro that is sautapu. So I te wā ka tūtaki e koe, tohoa rangatira, tohoa ka whakaro e koe, I te hea koe, wawatatia e koe mo te tangata. That conception, that conception of taua hononga, that kind of hononga, when you think about a person and you want to be with that person, Papa would always say, is that lust? Hey, I'm sure he lust tira e awhitia. And I'm going, heka. He goes, well, you know, because our energy, it brings another way. Hey, and it's the hua of that way as to where the conception comes from. Ne? And so before matariki comes in, it is from now to then, that is the most auspicious time, wahinema tānema, to have this conception and to conceive. Ne? From here to the time matariki comes in. And that's the koena te tino hua o te haputanga is, you know, when do you go and conceive? When do you go and have a tomo? And it is from here, from November actually, right up to matariki, is those times where we would hui with our whānau, ka noho wānanga, ka kai, you know, and our tipuna mai kau pērā ki taku mama and taku papa, they were given in tomo. They weren't given, oh look, I te hei hau tērā tangata. No, it wasn't like that. Oh, ko mai tō digits, mā koe wai atu kia koe. Hey, it wasn't like that, ne? Hey, so in nei rā, we have forgotten the concept of te wai ohua. Hey, because the hua is about, it is all about whakapapa. The wai is about being able to send your synergy, your Māori ki te Māori, your way, and have that relationship, mai to whakaro e tapu ana ki te tangata. A lot of people can hear that, you know, for those who are tipu mai I te pohanga reo kura kaupapa Māori, whare kura haere kota ki nā wānanga, ka mōhio koutou, tēnei momo āhuatanga, ngā mihi kia koutou. Te wai ohua starts with your whakaro. Kāti, ka mahi ma o tipuna hei hono e koutou, puruatahi, then our tipuna, they come together so that they know that the whenua, the moana, the maunga, the marakai will all be looked after. And they ka mōhio rātou that their mokopuna will be sustained because of having a hui, having a whakapapa wānanga, knowing all of what your tipuna have given you, mairano, nehera, for you to exist in this world. So from conception, as you can see here, from conception, it increases. Of course, it's going to increase because so tino wawata, kia moitahi, kia whakapapa tahi, and then ara, your sacred thought becomes fruitful, ka hapu koe. And so, tēnā, I know you've got plenty of questions from that now. I can hear it all right now. And so in the takutaki, you would have heard Hinewaiata, and you would have heard Uru Te Ngangana. And I come here to kia koto, our whānau from Ko Hinewaiata, makaira, na makaira beri I tākoha mai tēnei kia hai, mo tōna romi, mo ona wānanga tia I mātou nei te whānau beri. And so this Ko Hinewaiata was having a fundraising, art fundraising and anai. And what's so appropriate, koto, ana, koto ma I ho mai tākoha tēnei kia hai. And so I nei au whakaro, gee, I need an art piece, I needed this. And anyway, I looked into the corner and kei rei rakwe, e hine mai, kei rei rakwe, e uru te ngānana. So when we acknowledge our atua, you know, you don't hear enough of our atua that have been acknowledged in terms of ngā haputanga. It is Hinewaiata rawa ko uru te ngangana who gave the first pū iho. We hear a lot of our whānau saying, oh, you know, it's a pito. You know, I say, ehara, it's a pū, and it has an iho. Ne? So, and the iho is the umbilical cord that brings the mother, the father, because, you know, they think just ko te mama me te pāpai I rote tēnei kaupapa ko te haputanga, ehara. So the pū iho is our first connection for our pepe and mama to have this relationship. But it is because of Hinewaiata and uru te ngānana that this occurs. That is our quantum science. A lot of I haven't seen any other kōrero of atua who, in terms of quantums and our physics and our physicality, our anatomy, throughout the world actually. And I welcome challenge, and I welcome, you know, a wānanga to come into our space to be able to have that whanaungatanga so we can talk about this kaupapa. But in here, as you can see, that how our tamariki of Ko Hinewaiata saw and viewed what it was like for our beautiful pepe mokopuna in the womb of the mother, and how the right here with this is the whenua kura but how the harmony, the balance of that pū iho and what it's about to achieve I mui te tainga mai o te pepe. So when I was given this the kōrero, I said, how nā kōrero e se kai aku I te tikanga e whā. So when I looked at this is us, wahinema and tānema, being able to traverse between Hinenutipo and Hinetitama. We have all ability, especially when we're hapu. Our babies choose whether they stay here in the first 12 weeks or not. One of the things I want to say to wahinema, please, I mui tō haputanga is to detox rongoā, using rongoā, detox the liver. The liver is the most important organ of the body to detox before you get hapu. And the reason why is because your liver is so huge in your whare tangata, that baby needs to grow. Ne? And so in order for Baba to grow and to have that relationship with all of your organs, which we have 11 organs in our systems, meki, e hara ko te organs, 11 systems in our whare tangata, e te whānau. But the most important is when our pepes grow, ka tipu e rātau I roti tō mātou whare tangata, we need to detox the liver. The liver, prior to you getting hapu, detoxing, stop, you know, whakakoringe te waipiro, whakakoringe rawātu, and haere ki nā tohunga hei mahi te rongoā mōhau. That way that there's no toxins that will be that will come out of the body. no toxins that the baby has to try and whana i ruti I a koe. You'll find when our babies eat the whana, they start to go like this, and they start to kick, and it's always around the liver area, and it causes heart murmur. And then kaita aue mai koe. It also causes for you to ruaki. How to take na to ate e raruana. So when our babies, they come into this world, they are trying to sort you out, sort us out, sort our tāne out. E hara ko te wahine anake, ai, tērā momo. But you know, i te tuki, te mama me te papa, baby will actually push on your liver. Kia tau mama, kia tau, hai aha papa, hai waiho mana, hei haere ai, hey, koena. And so papa is your wānanga. Baby, koe tō tino wānanga. Ina ka tuki e korua, ka āhua raruana e korua, nā te pepe I whakatau I a koe te mama. I te tuatahi. Mama, because, you know, we as women, wahine mā, nui te aroha ki o kote nā tāne mā, inari wahine mā, because we are multitasking and traversing between realms in the human realm, hai kauparetia to protect us, you'll find Pepe is the one that is your first wānanga of io. That is your first wānanga of io, because it is io pūrongo and io pūtahi that gives this child to you. And then ngā atua came through to ensure that the pū iho would connect. Ka pai? So Hinewaiata is the one that brings the ayo. She's the one that allows the pū iho to her and urutungangana to give balance, the iho and the aho. Ka pai? So the iho and the aho gives balance for papa, our mokopuna and mama to have a relationship like no other. Wahine mā, your matakitanga, your seeing eye, your whatu manawa, your knowing of all realms, your all present knowing comes alive because of these two. It is them and ngā iho that will give you the wānanga that you have been waiting for a long time and that you have desired to know prior to having baby. One of the things that happen to our wahine that are hapu is they get a bit anxious, ne? And kaita tika if it's your first pepe. But for those of our whānau on here that have lost our pepe during the time between 0 and 12 weeks, it is not your fault. Our babies choose to return because of the wānanga that they have been given prior to coming to us. And so they return back to rehua, another wānanga. And in rehua, with our whānau, with our atu of rehua, rehua is the wānanga that looks after all our babies ka hoki. Ka hoki rātou kia aya. And as we all know, it was rehua who gave us the tūwhatu, gave tāne the tūwhatu for the human realm. But waiho tērā wānanga ki te tā, ne? But also rehua is the one that looks after all our babies ka hoki atu. And so some people call it, ka hoki atu ki a rehua, because it's not the time. It is not the time for Pepe to come into the wānanga, to give you your first wānanga. Ka pai? He wānanga anō tēnā, he kōrero anō tēnā, e nari ko tēnā. And so Hinewaiata and Uru te Ngānana, they, when, ko rāwatahi hei tiaki hei kaipare te pū iho, and when that is dissolved, because Pepe has had a wānanga with rāwatahi, Pepe has a wānanga with rāwatahi te tuatahi. And then nā te pepe wānanga tia taha rawa, the pepe will say, no, it is not my time. My parents are not ready. Koena te tino take mo te tomo. When you have a tomo, the parents kia whakarite. Kia rite, kia rite, kia rite. Ne? When you have a tomo, you even know which time of month, season, ka hapu koe. Because why? Because ka noho koe te tātou kuia, tō aunties ko ka whaia, and they will give you the pūrākau. Ka e hara tēnei te wā, me hapu. No, this is not the time to get hapu. You know, so our wānanga of haputanga, te mai ōrewa, it is these hine atua that has come directly from te mai ōrewa. No reira, so what has been given to you is the ahuru moai. The ahuru moai is the sanctified knowledge. Sanctified knowledge because it was given directly from the wānanga of iwi. But more importantly, the sanctified knowledge is that ka noho ko te Māori ki runga e pupuri ana, ko te wairua ki raro e tau atoko nei. The wairua only supports it, but the Māori, ka uru mai te Māori, I te wā ka hapu e koe. Ne? And so Pepe has been given rites of passage directly back to iwi. So when ka haere koe, and you can haere hi koe haere, and you have a gut feeling, because kei reira te intuition I tō whare tangata, ne? So intuition, the karapūtoro is our intuition and our instinction. Well, it's all in the whare tangata area. So I te wā ka hapu e koe, a tau mai tō Pepe, you have now gone into a multi-dimension of quantums of physics. You are now in a multi-dimension. You are not in the one dimension that you were prior to you being hapu. Our pepes bring us multi-dimensional wānanga. One of them is the ahuru moai. The ahuru moai, kia mātou nei, and even is where all wānanga is taking place for both you, the mama, the papa, and Pepe. E hara ko te mama anake. Both the mother and father, when our Pepe, our papas place their hands on, tō rātou ringa I rungi te kōpū o te mama, you can feel it. The Māori ki te Māori, he can feel his Pepe. He can even determine the sex. So, e tai o nā tangata ringa. Whawha, ka tai koe ki te titiro. I said, Moteha, can you tell me what I'm having, a boy or a girl? And eka, I'm good, I'm not that good, And so it is actually the papa. The papa is the one that determines the sex for the Pepe, the ara ko te mama, but also the papa has and can and provide another synergy on this realm to Pepe, so that when Pepe comes through, she or he will absolutely know when they turn their eyes and they go, oh, taku papa tina. When you'll find too, with those who have a beautiful relationship with their Pepe, te kōpū o te mama, and they place their hands at the back of their mama, of their wahine, and then they place their hands in the front of their wahine pene ki tene, you can feel, those tāne can feel their Pepe, karuti aia. And then they can, koena te tuatahi me tau parapara. Me tukuna I te tau parapara, I nā taku, I nā pūrākau, I te wā ka hapua ana I tō wahine. Koena te wā pai, kau e tatirana mo te wā ka whānau mai e te Pepe? No. So all of the learning, the ahuru, the sanctified knowledge that Papa has got is kairoto I te kōpū. This is at the first 3 months. Baby has been given wānanga to give to papa, mama, kuia, kraua, ai ka pā. Ka pā I tō ringa ki muri, just on top of the kumu, just up top, and ka pātoringa ki mua. You will hear, I've seen beautiful, taua katoa, ona tau parapara mo te pepe. Well, put mai te pepe, and ka huri pēnei mai te pepe, ki te tiro hea, kai hea taku pāpā, me tana tau parapara. Pono nei. And it's not until when I te waka whānau mai e koe te pepe, that is the first one that can be ka tukuna e te pepe. And then pepe will just turn and go, oh, taku papa, taku papa. I pēra. So, you know, whānau kaua e tatiri ana mo te waka whānau mai I tō pepe. Our traditional practices were that our mamas sat in wānanga. This is the time they learned tau parapara, tō rātai pūrākau, me te papa. It is this koena te wā. And then for our beautiful midwives, pēra I Dērna Chifalau, Anne-Marie, Taiapa, Johnson, our whānau Sherrington, I te taitokirau, those midwives, nā midwives, ātaua katoa tō rātou mahi. Yes, kua whakariterite e koutou, te hue, wera o nā oine a whānau, and Ngāti Pro, tēnā koe kaniwa. But it is that time that they nā rātou whakarite. So our midwives, Māori, are now able to whakahoki e ngā taonga kia o koutou e wahinema. Te whakariterite tō koutou whakaritina mo te pepe ko taimua. Pērei te muka, te hue, all those taonga tuku iho heahai, kia taurawa atu te ai o nuku te ai o rangi. Moho tātou hene pūteru he. Hene pūteru he e tia ki koe te atua mo te hui. Me te muka, all of those hene will come into your kaupapa, tō wānanga, kia hono ai e koe ki ngai ne atua. Ka pai, koena tēnei. And that is where all the sanctified knowledge comes from. Mai I aua wānanga mā midwife, Māori midwives hei hoa te kia koe. Koena te pai. So ngā mihi atu kia koe e koutou. Me tō koutou tia ki ngā wahine. Ka te ka huri anō. Te ukai pō. So mai I te wai o huai, I tō wai, te wai ti, te wai tā, ko te sperm and the egg. Koena te wai ti, te wai tā, the balancing of. Wahine mai, as we all know, we can't get happy without a tāne heka. No, and then we've gone into a wānanga with the ukai pō. And the ukai pō too is, the aroha mai, and the ahuru mōwai is when our Māori midwives whakarite. They're amazing. They're able to give you mātauranga in both worlds, both the science, Western science, and tō mātauranga Māori. But the ukai pō, when procreation occurs, and you would see how I put the photo, my niece's art piece, and I turned it upside down, so you would have seen how her art pieces were. So one was, coming head, and then the other one was, taupi nena, ne? And these are the different ways that our pepe prepare kia haramai. And so, this is this is how our pepe should come through his mahuna first, her mahuna. But then there are pepes that come through with waiwai. And I thought they whanawhana. They come out through breach. They call it breach in their science, Western science. Well, kia mātou nei, I te wānanga, these pepe here that come out with their waiwai first, they're the ones that are very good at doing rumi. They're the ones who are gifted to those ones who hunter and gatherers, is these ones. And that's our quantum, that's our quantum science. It's very, very it's like, wow, so they're the ones who do all the hunting and good, our koena, enena. So, you know, the Western science calls it breaching. Yeah, tina titahi. But tō mātou Rongoā Māori, they have the ability to be the best athlete in any racing, you know, umoma, you know, they're the best to hide and run. So if you have mokopuna that come out with breaching, but for us, there you can see when they get pakake, you know, like 3 or 4, oh, bring their baby and put him on my puku. Oh, why is that far? Because he can feel their pepe, can feel your tinana. And sure enough, my mokopuna, whānau pani, she has the ability to walk come from Papatūānuku. She comes from Papatūānuku and walks straight onto the tinana, because she brings the Māori of Papatūānuku with her under her feet and walks straight onto the tinana hahai, because she has the ability to do that through her birthing. So all of these tohu or taonga tuku iho meki that have been given to our mokopuna, these are the mātauranga, these are the ukaipo that we in this wānanga right now have been longing to know. What is the difference between a breech baby, a baba that comes through head first, a baba that's come through cesarean? Ne? The procreation kaupapa is all about the divinity that is procreation, is infinity within eternity. This gives our potential to exist. The Māori is your procreation, essence to ora. You are the ira tangata. You have a taonga that needs to be given back to the world. You came through my womb to be able to release what is important from io pūtahi and io pūrongo, for the world to hear the essence of the ukaipo, our procreation. So as we all know, we take our whenua kura back to our ukaipo. Whakaokia mai ki tō whenua. Kia kaua e pura te te whare makariri. And there is many that we don't realize that there are many of our whānau that when we were given the sanction meki to return our whenua kura back to our whenua, we had no idea how to do that. And so those of our midwives out there, koutou mā, hei āwhinatu ki nā whānau ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Whānau, please treat the whenua kura as a living organ. When you treat it as a living organ, then you will never put it into the freezer. When you treat it as a living organ, because nā te whenua kura I whakatipu I tō pepero te kōpuru. Because our whenua kura has given all sustenance direct from rehua, it is because of rehua that the whenua kura was given as a tonga tuku iho for our pepe to live in the womb. And because of that, and that when we treat it as a human organ, because it's come out of a ira tangata, then whakahokia mai ki te whenua kia Papatūānuku. She will always, our whenua kura e te whana is the first nutrients for her, for Papatūānuku. So all of those who do marakai and look after the topsoil, all the layers, all the one of hine I ahu mai tōne, all of those soil that we continue to provide nutrients for our marakai is the same. Your whenua kura has all those nutrients, every nutrient. Kia tāko hatu I a Papatūānuku. Ka pai? Yeah, I know, more I. Yeah, oh, yeah, I know, ka rongoai. Anyway, but in the kāre te mōhio, you don't know. So, koina te take na toi ake I tono mai māku hei kora te kia koutou. And that is the reason why when we acknowledge rehua, when our pepes return through miscarriage, through other means, baby goes straight back to rehua. That's where baby goes to. And then we, you know, ka hapua no tātou. And it's beautiful, amazing. And that is the reason why when me hunanga was rehua, and Papatūānuku, me tuku ngā taku kia reo, rehua. Anei tō taonga tuku iho mai e koe mō tātou tira tangata. Mā koe whakaokia kia Papatūānuku. Hei taonga tuku iho, hei kai mana me tana oranga. Mua ke tonu atu. E Papatūānuku. Pena. As simple as that, ne? And then when ka whakahokia, of course, you know, kai tikainga te tahi rā kai rongoā, mai pita nikai, mai pita harakeke, kai a koe te tikanga nā i te whānau. Every hapu has a different rā kai rongoā for their pūrākai. And so, the pūrākai, I roti tō rātou hapu, say, e awhitia whakahokia mai tō te whenua kura I kone. Oh, kapai, you know, and then we want to say, how high? They go, hey, aha, just whakahokia, you know, right? But ko te tikanga, me whakahokia tō whenua kura kia orai te pepe. Kia orai te pepe, na te aha ai, please, whānau, do not have the whenua kura and pepe up at the same time. One has to go down to bring balance to the papa. Rehua has given us the whenua kura. E rehua, I whakahokia kia Papatūānuku, because you've just given me a tonga tuku iho taku pepe. You can't look after both. The whenua kura has done its mahi. Koe nā te ukaipo. Whakahokia mai kia hau kia Papatūānuku. E mama, I've done my job. Nā rehua tēnei hei koati te pepe kia koe. Kia koro ko papa. E nare ko taku whenua kura, whakahokia ki te whenua. Whenua ki te whenua. Ka pai, I roti te hue, I nā he hue, if you have a hue, ka tika. If you have a way of doing that, I roti tō whānau kōrero, I roti tō whānau kaipuka, me mahi. No reira, whenua te procreation te ukaipo, the whenua kura ki te whenua. And as we all know, hine nui te pō and hine titama. We are the portals to both e te whānau. We have the right of passage to tiaki I tō mātou pepe I te kōpū o tō mātou kōpū. I'm not going to go over too much of this tēnei kōrero because it's a wānanga all on its own. But for those who have had cesareans, we're prompted to ensure those who have had and have come from a different place within it hasn't come through the ngā mata. We have 12 realms within when our pepe come through, and each realm has a mata. We won't go over too much with this because I know we haven't got much time. It's 5 to 1. But in this realm, there's 12 realms. When we and are very fortunate to have listened to and been a part of our taranaki whānau koutou mā, o taranaki maunga, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. When my mokopuna was about to be born, they brought all of their tauparapara, all of their taku at the time that my mokopuna was about to be birthed. They took my mokopuna through all of the 12 rounds. Ahakua Baba was stuck, and our whānau from Taranaki knew, oh, she'll only come through this way if we do all our tauparapara. Oh, te rawe hoki. Rawe katoa e rātau, e Taranaki maunga. And of course, this mokopuna, pariamio, ara kahuri, and she could feel, the mama could feel, oh, kai te hara mai pepe. Nā mihi nui kia koutou e Taranaki maunga, te pānau Edwards, hei mahi e ito koutou mahi. Hei mahi rangatira e koutou. And so, in terms of hine titama and hine nui te pō, we're at the threshold of awe, kai taha mātou. And so that kind of mātauranga Māori still exists I enei rā. Ahakua te tāpihitanga o na Western science. Ka pai? I think ko tai te wā, I can see up there, e rangi. This is pariamio, this is our last one. And of course, when you've got your own midwife, tō mātou midwife is my cousin. Very, very privileged, honoured actually, that Tania, our whānau, Whaongāti Pro and Ngāti Kahungunu was able to birth our pepe. With all, and also have our hue ready for her whenua kura to return back to Taranaki Wainga. And of course, the naming is even important. And so we're very privileged to have her tipuna kraiwa, her great-grandfather, at her birthing, with all of her kraiwa, her grandfather's sisters, who were able to do the tauparapara. It is important, whānau, that midwifery is, I just need to put it out there, that midwifery is, we need more nurses, we need more whānau coming into this area. But we're very fortunate that we, all mai moko puna, have been birthed from our own whakapapa, our own midwives, our queer, who were available, or who were able to be the pera ia whānau pane and her tipuna queer whānau pane. Nō reira, koutou mā, I know it's, we're bang on 1 o'clock, I know, and I'm taking your lunchtime or your home time, or but nō reira whānau, koena tā mātou kōrero, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. I just want to show one more. This is our whānau there, but this is now these ones here, they all come from the Amazons, midwives. And they came into Aotearoa before the COVID, and they came to have a hononga, have a whanaungatanga with me, because I have birthed, but my role is really to look after the pepe, the mama, which is hapu, hey, to call miri aya. But these two here are our midwives from the Amazons. Rawe o rātou mahi tahayau, you can see down here, you know, what we were all doing, showing our different skills and how we could improve our practices. But ngā mihi nui kia koutou, toi ake, rangi nui tārio, kaiti mihi atu kia koutou, ka misi taku kōrero, look at here, it's 1 o'clock, ka wātaki take o I te wā. And hoa tu, whakahoki e te rākau kia koutou. Nō reira, e te whānau, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, katoa.
Tēnā koe whai awhitia, tēnā koe. I te nui me te rangatiro e ne kōrero, was going to be hard to try and compact all this kaupapa, very sensitive kaupapa, bringing life to the world in this 1 hour. Nō reira, kaue mā harahara, going over time was expected and it's all good. It happens, and ka koera hoki te wānanga ne, we sort of let it happen organically, and so don't feel bad about time. Engari, I mua I te wehenga, there are a couple of pātai that some had on there, but I mua I tērā, I think what we have found out is that there needs to be more wānanga around this. He wānanga ātinana, he wānanga, so mo te hunga kāri te mārama ki te reo Māori, we need to have a in-person wānanga around this kaupapa and be able to dive into the depths of this topic and understanding it from our point of view. Nō reira, anei pētahi pātai I mua I tō wehenga, kei te pai, ka tō te rā hakua pēhe ane, it's all good. Doesn't matter what happens, tamanui te rā will set, and it's setting anyway, nō reira, we'll do our thing. One of the pātai that was sent was, what kind of rongoā rākau can be taken to help cleanse the liver?
Ka pai tira pātai whānau. There's 3, the tuatahi tānekaha. Tānekaha is the best, it's the top of the rongoā line. Then we have patete and kohekoe. Depending on, you need to prepare properly. I look for the rongoā practitioners out there and our hauora clinics. We have one here. We have many here we've taught here in Tāmaki Makaurau, but if you can't, Hone Rātana has got a clinic, and he does have rongoā that you can access from him, koha based, and but Tānekaha is the best. Kia ora.
Rawe, ko tētahi atu. What avenues would we take to become Māori midwives?
Oh, pai tira pātai. I'll leave that to Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, I'm putting it out there. E te tukana. Anne-Marie Taiapa Johnson. She works for the DHB. She would be an excellent person to get in contact with, and send some people out to use to have a wānanga, just to, you know, like how we at Te Wānanga Aotearoa, we put our posts up for our courses. At the moment, she is the person that I would recommend for you to be in contact with, is Anne-Marie Taiapa Johnson. Kia ora.
Ka rawa, e pātai anō, mo te wāhi ki te whenua, there is some pātai around the whenua, and so there are some that ko tētahi kei ahitereiria, and they're currently preserving the whenua I roto I te pauakatio I reira, and waiting for an opportunity to come home, and then ka whakahoki ki te whenua. Have you got any other whakaro around, any other suggestions I roto I tau in that context?
Yeah, tēnā koutou ahitereiria ngā whanaunga. We have had, you know, yes, tika taru. That's a very complex question, but a very reasonable question in that. So those who come home, those who have preserved the whenua kura and put it in a pot plant. So what we have asked is that our whānau that in ahitereiria to have a honanga with our Aboriginal whānau. Our Aboriginal whānau, we have got Māori midwives over there. Actually, my cousin is over there, the one that you've seen on here. She's up in Isa. But in terms of whakahokia ki te whenua, there's two ways we've been doing it. One is for our whānau who are returning home. A lot of our whānau are coming home now, is to send the whenua kura back with them. Ensuring though that you have a wānanga with your whānau here, pērā te Zoom, with nanny or kind of rongoā. So it's all about having a wānanga, finding those pūrākau. That's one way of bringing the whenua kura home. The other one we have suggested to our whānau, in particular my cousin that's on, that I showed, because she's up in Isa, to have the honanga with our Aboriginal whānau, and to ask them if there's a whenua, knowing that our traditions are very much the same, our whenua that is tapu, you know, our wāhi tapu, pera ia rātou. So, and she has that relationship with the Aboriginal whānau over there. And so our Māori whānau that are over there are able to go through that whakapapa line, because there's a lot of our people who have married to our Aboriginals over there. And so it's time to wānanga with them, and time to have that whanaungatanga so that the whenua kura can either stay there, and a wāhi tapu over there that they allocate, and or send it home with someone that's coming back from ahitereiria. Knowing you've had a wānanga prior. Kia ora.
Anei tētahi atu, if we didn't bury the whenua, how do we restore the health of our tamariki? Is that possible?
Kia ora. That is the reason why we have tika. So for those babies that in the 70s, some of them were the 70s, 70 babies who were born in the 70s, and they didn't go through their tikanga process because of the Western of the being programmed by the state. One of the things we do, and that is the reason why we have hure, why we have kōmiri, why we have romi, is to disconnect and rebind. Rebind Mauriki te Mauri kia io. Not that io wasn't connected, it's just that there are other underlying residuals that happen when, you know, because i ngā rao moa, that's a good question, i ngā rao moa, they used to burn the main, and then the pollution went out there like no tomorrow. And so even now we're trying to stop that. That's a whole different wānanga, but yes, we can find you a romi practitioner or someone that does mahi wairua, and help them to disconnect that from the pito, from the whenua kura, all in their tapu.
Ka ora. Pātai atu anō tēnei, I've had 4 C-sections and it breaks my heart. I cannot have a natural birth. What does this mean for wahine? Because I feel let down.
Tēnā koe te tuhine. Just know that, you know, ahakoa the C-section ra. The best thing is to go to a practitioner who does romi. And first, that is to realign. E te katau, there has been many of our women who have been birth, and I want to say this, birth to order. And so we need to stop that. And I know that, and what I mean by birth to order is that we have had many of our wahine who say, I want to have a C-section and I want it this time. And so I'm going to book it with my obstetrician or whomever. Actually, you're tampering with the natural law, like straight up. You're tampering with the natural law. And for those who have been subjected meki to having cesarean, depending on what and how come and who and all of that and what our bodies are doing for us, there is a way to be able to have a natural birth. But that process is you need to go through a practitioner of romi. One, Cynthia Rameka out, she's got 2 clinics that she runs in the South Auckland. And that's to, yeah, because the cesarean is your first trauma. But yeah, we won't go into that. There's a bit too much here. Okay, kia ora.
And there lies, you know, the very need to have these wānanga, you know, because what we're providing is mātauranga, and for some people it's closure, for some people it is direction, you know, and so herein lies with all these pātai therefore the importance of having and making these wānanga available for all our whānau to attend, and you know, kaupapa that really haven't been discussed openly or too in too many spaces. Reira,
Rangi, I just want to answer that. I see that one of the things whānau is I've watched this is really important. I am watching your pātai, and one of them is, do you have a romi practitioner you would recommend a post after? So one of the things is kohe is that is the reason why you need to go to hone. And to our other practitioners, kohe will help. See, the kohe runga will help the grief, as well as your u, because our u are thinking that they need to feed our pepe, ne? And so it's the grief as well. The kohe will help with the grief, and the kawakawa. Kawakawa is the ultimate for detoxing, but kohe for those who have lost pepe. And this is the reason why you need to go. There are many midwives Māori now that especially Duna, Tripolo, she definitely does rongoā with hers, Kaniwa, Kupenga, and Ngāti at home. Aroha mai, I don't know every practitioner. Jackie Martin also in South Auckland, and Te Waipounamu, she's down there. But when we've got polycystic ovaries and can't get hapu, I pono nei, takuringa I kapu manawa, me haere koe tuki na haura rongoā. Pono nei, it's the polycystic ovaries, can't get hapu, all of that is because need to have a detox. Ne? And our rongoā has definitely done that detox, romi, kōmiri, to be able to, because a lot of it is trauma. And then ka whakapono mata ki te trauma. But because we don't know anything else. Ne? So there is a need, rangi nui, to have a wānanga. For those who think that the pepe is, tōmurina, I meant to have pepe last week, pepe's not coming to next week. Whānau, they're still in wānanga. It's as simple as that. They're still in wānanga because they're not ready for the ao. Because this ao, what's happened over the last 2 years, whānau, we have had many come during the doing all of that kaupapa that happened over the last 2 years, and it was very traumatic. I saw all of that, saw all of what was happening to you. But you know, if our babies are late because the calendar said it's late, well, they're not. You know, your midwives will ensure that Papa is going to come when the baby's ready. Always when because they've been in wānanga, they were gifted to us. So in terms of their gifting to us, they need to say to Mummy and Papa, hey, I'm not ready. I'll come when the time is right. And it's always either when the tide is coming in or the tide is going out. It has to be either or. We all know when the tide is coming in and Papa comes, and Papa kapana mai te pepe, beautiful birthing, because all the water in you is amazing. You haven't got diabetes, you haven't got dehydration, you haven't got any of that. And so you're guaranteed that the marama and the moana will have a connection to the haputanga, and especially at full tide and full moon. Beautiful, right? And this is only part and parcel of our mātauranga. Those who have had dry births, our whānau is, that's when the tide is going out. So you will absolutely know, and even the times when tamatea or the unpredictable tamatea moon, marama and all that, some is pai, some is not pai. And so, you know, that's why the planning of being hapu and all of that is very essential, and that's why tomo is the most, our mātauranga Māori around tomo, it definitely sets the scene or sets the kaupapa mo te moitahi me te whānau mai te pepe. We've forgotten that's mātauranga, we think it's inanahira, but it's actual part of our science.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
Tēnā kaupapa ira, can I bug you for 2 more pātai?
Yes, pātai mai.
One is, what is the Māori view on preventing and ending pregnancies when necessary? Are there any pūrākau we can draw on to help our young ones through difficult times like abortion?
Whānau mā, you know, take every precaution around that, because we've just given you the wānanga on rehua, and all of ngā atu and all of ngā io. This is koena te tino take that we need to have, and there is many reasons why we have love children who are born in circumstances that or our wahine are happy because of violation, and I'm going to say that. And so that is the reason why we have rongoā. We do have rongoā and we do have rumi, and we still have to, as practitioners, cannot play with the natural law. We're not allowed. So only if we're given sanction to tautoko, our wahine, kia whakahokia te pepe, kia rehua, we know if we've got sanction. If we haven't got sanction, then we will not do that, because we're playing around with the natural law. And I'm saying that because it is our mokopuna. If we do anything that is to breach tikanga, breach the natural law, it is our mokopuna that will suffer i te mutina. But there definitely are ways of, because for any reason, especially violation to the wahine, and they get hapu, then we go through every precaution using our tauparapara, our pūrākau, but there was no violation. There was no violation in Atua, not at all. You know, all the kōrero about hine titama, hine nui te pō and tāne, and this wānanga that we belong to, there was no violation. But in the ira tangata, definitely violation. So there is rongoā for that, and we do have a rumi and a taku process to go through, but we're very cautious.
Kia ora.
Yeah, kia ora.
Rawe tēnā. Ko tahi anō whāia, can you please name the practitioners that are in tāmaki? Just some people even actually talk to.
Well, I want to just, tika tau. So, you know, I think this is a good time for me to actually put up what you call it, a Facebook or something to let you know. I think we need to put up a hub, so people can just go to that page and find their Rumirumi practitioners. I know Cynthia Rameka definitely is a practitioner for haputanga, definitely. We do have Papa's son, Korimako Delamere, who is out at Pukaki, definitely Koia. We do have, myself, but I get so busy on Zooms that I can't do the main. No, fuck up. I think I need to do the wānanga now, rangi nui. But we do have some up-and-coming Kelly Kingi, Joe Popama, Rātou Ma, they've just done some mahi over there in Unity last week. So we are building the kaupapa so that, and having more wānanga with Rongoā students. We do have Sean Hamilton, who is a muri whenua midwife up there, who has had time with us in the wānanga around haputanga. Of course, Kaniwa Kupenga, and she's got many whānau here that are still doing the mahi. But we do have, I think my cousin's come back, Whare Kupenga, she's here in Tamaki as well, who does haputanga wānanga up in Ngāti Whātua.
Hapai, karawe.
Yeah.
Enui, tēnā koe i era kōrero engari, me mutu pēr tāua kōrero e korone kia kore e whakatōroa hia, te poto. And there are more e te whānau. I think out of this we've highlighted that we still need to hold wānanga no reira whai awhitia, and we'll have more conversations, and so stay in tune with Toi Tangata and see what we have to do if you agree to, if we can in the Paitata potentially hold a wānanga that we can get to a lot of these kaupapa and a lot of these pātai that we've got i o tātou mutu. Hoi anō, we may run into tomorrow if nā te mā, ke te rere tonu ngā pātai, e rere tonu ana. Nō reira, koutou ngā kai whakarongo, if you've got any pātai or any more feedback, there will be an evaluation form sent back to you guys, and it's also good for us as host of these kaupapa. The length of our kōrero, the types of kōrero, what worked, what didn't work, so that we can continue to provide this platform for us and all this mātauranga at different so in the future. Nō reira, kia tai era kia koutou, please whakakia, ka whakahokia mai ai, and we'll take all of those into consideration. And last but not least, kei taku mā reikura, e te kete wānanga, e te pūkōrero o tā tātou wānanga, e korera wātu nei ngā mihi e mimiti ki a koe. We are just astounded by the wealth of knowledge that you kindly shared with us today, and we're looking forward to other mātou for other wānanga that we could potentially pick your brains about. As you can see, there are a lot of pātai that are still coming through, and potentially be able to ask them at a later date. Nō reira.
Can I just say something, Rangi? Aroha mai.
Hei a koe.
Just te tai atu kōrero whānau, just one more. We do have Nina, who is she's my whānau tora. She's up in Perth. Nina Bunce, she's up in Perth. The thing is, whānau, when you look, we put so many people up here on the platform as to your kairomiromi. The thing is, whānau, you need to be comfortable with your kairomiromi. It's just like rite tone ki nā, when we have midwives, and they said, oh, nā tēnei midwife, nā tēnā midwife, Well, it's the same as the kairomiromi. And that is the reason why you need to, if you're Māori, if your wairua does not connect to the kairomi, then don't go. Me whakaro hea koe, because it's about you and Baba. And be very matara. Be very matara, because what you're carrying in your whare tangata, in your womb, which is the sacred portal Te hene nui te pō and hene titama. So what you are actually are carrying in your womb comes from those realms. So you need to be very careful who is your kairomi practitioner. Who is the one? I mean, there might be some beautiful pākehā that can do the mahi. You know, it's all about choosing the right person for you and pepe, especially your wairua and your mauri. If you don't feel comfortable, then kaiwa. And me whakaro he koto. If they say, no, I can do it, you know, your first instinct, intuition comes from here, from the whare tangata. Pepe will let you know if that person is good or not good for you, because it's Pepe that's giving you your wānanga. Ka pai? So me ata, and I'm saying this because, you know, I've seen too many and out there in the community, too many, and they've all come back to me. And this is the time to be very matara and, you know, choose wisely, just like you're going to choose our midwives. I can safely say all the Māori midwives that I've worked with and I've seen today, they're amazing. I've only said that because I've worked with them and been able to birth with them. So I can't talk for anyone else, but that's koena te tahi tūpato e koto. Ka pai, I know that you're so hea kai mo enei o nā wānanga, but that's my last kia tūpato e koto, me matara, me matara. We do have a lot in Australia that have been trained. If you have been trained by Anuru, Painoa, and I'm saying that because his mahi is rawe. If you have been trained by Korimako, if you have been trained by Whetu Marama, there are certain people that we stick to in this mahi. And Cynthia Pai. For the others, I'd be very kia matara. That's all I'm saying. Yeah? And this has been pono. Me te pono e ruti te aroha. No reira, rangi nui ngā mihi nui kia kotai.